Hello, Pauline Crawford speaking. I wanted to just give you a few ideas that we discussed this morning. The group got together on Zoom, and I'm going to carry on this in the next few months. And we were talking about how can we become conversation change makers? And why would we want to? Well, because conversations are getting stuck, conversations go into conflict, conversations can get into battles and arguments, and that doesn't help what we need in this world today. So, in particular, I was sharing the idea of a new map of the world. And it's very simple in many ways. It's looking at the baseline territory of men and women as a starting point for discussions and conversations about every single diversity that we can imagine. All the things that have to get bound by policy and get stuck in the corporate structure. Real conversations matter. And so, looking at the baseline territory, we expand it from a male territory, which is linear and box and square, and we add on a circle of life, a roundness, tangents, multi layers, and this is a female territory. Now, that's not to say that men can't work and be on the female territory, but their baseline is on that square, and the female baseline is on the circle. But the next structure we put on is a 360-degree circle around the whole arena of the box and the circle. And what this means is we can start looking at the nature of difference within each territory. So I've got two territories. The male one is rather like a PC, and the female one is rather like a Mac. And this is because females work in a cycle. We work in a menstrual cycle, we work with a need to nurture, with an ability to make relationships. We tend to look at tasks through relationships, and we love to talk to each other, to chatter, to build conversations. We're very multi-leveled, multi-layer. Men are much more singular. This is seen in the brain pattern and also in the task-focused, solution-making nature of their core behavior, their core nature. So within each of these territories, we have masculine and feminine energy. So we can put a circle around the box and the spiral, the circle, put another loop around the whole thing, and recognize different types around the circuit. Why is this important? Because in order to have conversations that really value differences and matter, this is a baseline of our first step into the conversation arena. We know what kind of man we are, what kind of woman we are. Are we a masculine-minded man, a rather bullet point man, and I'm right, a very, very topic-centered man? Or am I a feminine-minded male who is, like Nelson Mandela, much more intuitive, more of a servant leader? He does live in a box, but he also can lend himself out of a box with feelings. In fact, he understands women in a very much more friendship way. And then on the women's territory, we have the masculine-minded woman, the masculine-minded female, like myself. All female, I'm a mother and a grandmother. I have a nurturing core and I love relationships and chatter. But I have that sort of masculine energy where I think in very logical, sequential ways. I'm a mathematician and a geometrist. I like this squareness of life. And then my sister's the feminine-minded female, who is much more soft in her figure shape and also in her mindset. She loves to build territory. She's more of a sovereign character. She nurtures her community. She's often very, very good at detail and verbally dexterous, whereas our masculine-minded women, females, they tend to be more of engineer type, constructing things, making things work. So these characters, the masculine male, I call him my MM, who's more of a ruler, to the FM, the feminine-minded male who is more of a philosopher, the feminine-minded female who is a sovereign, and the masculine-minded female, MF, who, like me, is more of a magician. And I mean that in the sense of making the mind work in order for the heart to grow. The map is available to you. Anybody who would like to have a baseline map, just send me your details. But the reason for putting a map into place in the first place is to know who's around the table, male and female, so that we can start discussing every other diverse issue: generation, sexual orientation, racial differences, cultural differences, any other differences that come on. Once we start the conversation with different characters in the room, we're aware of our starting point. So the women chattering more maybe and the men chattering less, the bullet point man looking for summaries and action, the servant leader male looking for touchy-feely understanding, the masculine female maybe looking for answers quicker than maybe the feminine-minded female. But all characters count. So once we've got this baseline template for communication, we can have conversations about everything. That's my belief. So we're going to create the future. We accept the new template, but we look into the future with our imagination, and we share from our experience, not our judgment, about what we would like in the future. So I'd like you to try this out. Think about, what would the future look like if I didn't condition it by the past? Please send me your ideas. Tell me whether you're a male or female, what generation you come from, and any other diverse issue you want to share. The generation issue is important to me, more so than other diversities, because the generation issue informs us from when we were born. So I was born in 1949. I experienced life very differently from a young millennial who was born after 2000. But these things are very relevant. Now, obviously, the history and the background of all the other diverse issues are important as well. So anything that you think is relevant to why you designed your future the way it is to be positive, creative, exactly as you would like it, with no condition of the past. You can put anything in. But I would like you to make it positive and very much having a good moral compass for how you see the world. And let's start sharing that so we can explore together how we make that happen. And that's my message for today. Create our future, be insightful about who we are, value our differences, and let's go forward and make the world a better place. Thank you.